Okay, now this is the temptation and fall in the Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 1. Now, well, let me read this first. In the midst of the garden, near the tree of life, stood the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This tree was especially designed of God to be the pledge of their obedience, faith, and love to Him. If, close quote, if we are tempted, God will not stop us from being tempted because He has to prove our faith. So our test will be something that is openly before us. Anytime it's a test, it will be right in front of us. If a man is tempted by a woman, if Satan allows the man, if God allows Satan to tempt the man with a woman, let's say he's married and Satan tempts him to commit adultery, God is not going to stop this. We have to understand that we're striving to be among the 144,000. The 144,000 is called in Scripture strong people. So God expects us to pass the test. Temptation will come to us, but God is looking for a faithful few. God expects us to pass that test. Why? Because He wants us first. Now, I want you to pay attention. This book was given to me by the Lord, the Spirit of Prophecy. I prayed to God and asked Jesus and asked Him how to use my spiritual gifts, because I had a dream where God showed me that I had gifts, but I prayed to God and I asked Him, I don't know how to use these gifts. So in a vision, a book, the whole book of the Spirit of Prophecy was delivered. Now in the vision, something was trying to stop this book from being seen, from being delivered to me. But the book came with power and it could not do anything. As I study the Spirit of Prophecy, which I invite all of you to do, I've learned many things. It has been a blessing to me. It has even interpreted dreams for me. And I've come to realize that temptation is coming, because life is a circle, life is a current, and this is why we have to watch what we do in life. We must always try to be a blessing to other people. When it comes to committing adultery, we have to be careful with this, not to hurt anyone, because life is a circle. It comes back. And only through obedience to God can you be saved from this. Now we have a choice to do good or to do evil, to speak the truth, especially in this time where we're near the close of probation for the church, for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We have a choice. Now temptation will come to us, but we have a choice whether to reject evil and accept the good, because God has to prove us. We can't just say, oh, we love Jesus and that's enough. God will test us. We have to prove our faith. Hell was not designed for man. It was designed for the fallen angels who left their first estate. And if it is unbearable for them, what about us as man? Hell is a place of great grief. At the time of punishment, Satan and his angels will feel all that they have done. Now, God told Adam and Eve not even to touch the tree, not to touch the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It is that knowledge of evil that kills. In the Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 1, page 27, it says, God gave Adam and Eve all they needed to be happy. But God chose in his wisdom to test them before they would be secure, meaning before they would have immortality. Satan was permitted to tempt them. Now the tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and also the tree of good and evil in the midst, in the center, which represents a covenant. God especially put the tree of good and evil in the midst, not hidden, but in the midst to prove them. And we have this test in marriage. We have this test in marriage. Now, after Satan could not regain access into heaven again, his plan was to challenge the authority of God and go after Adam and Eve and try to reach the tree of life, because after they had fallen, they lost their strength. And their plan was, Satan and his fallen angels, was to gain access to the tree of life so that they would have strength like the holy angels. One thing we must understand, that sin weakens us. Sin weakens us. The tree of life immortalizes you. Before I read to you the Spirit of Prophecy, there's something very magnificent in the nourishing your bodies with herbs. We get our oxygen from trees. Now, I would like to share something with you. God showed me a dream, and I did not understand the dream at the time. I did not know that this dream would be so vital to me today. Now, in the dream, I had taken a pregnancy test. Listen to me carefully. Now, the doctor said that it was very accurate, and she sent me to get some things, vitamin, and I think one was an acid. Anyway, I left to look for these things. Now, in the dream, I saw that, like, my marriage was shaky in the dream. So I'm walking and I'm looking for these things that the doctor told me to get. And then I saw a big bull, a big black bull. Now this bull was just charging to knock everybody. He was trying to kill them, me included, everybody. And which shows the time. It shows the time, and that there can be like many tragedy, there will be many illnesses. Anyway, to run from this bull, everybody's trying to run from this bull. And to run from this bull, I ran up a tree. And the tree helped me to safety. But there was something in the back of me hanging on to me, something dark. Now, in the dream also, there was a security. Now, this security take this bull and slam it to the ground. I say in the dream, what type of security is this? Because he just take the bull. It was a boy. He just take the bull and just slam the bull down. Now, I have to tell you about the tree. As someone who just found out that they have low blood, right, which was something to my surprise, I didn't know that I could have low blood. So I thought I was drinking for a very long time blood enriching drinks, but anyway, I found out I have low blood. Now the thing about the tree, which I pray that anybody who you see have low blood will listen and research, and please add herbs to your diet. Plants, green plants that have life in them, that have that rich green color. Now, the thing about trees is that while I ran up the tree, God was showing me what I would need to help me. When you have low blood, you don't have enough oxygen that goes throughout your body. So if you have low blood, you need to take it very serious. Now the thing about plants, God made plants in such a way, it's truly amazing. There's just wisdom behind it. In plants that have that rich green color that we call chlorophyll, so for those who know the scientific part, the chlorophyll mimics the blood that you need, the hemoglobin that you need in order for you to have oxygen in your body. So what the plant does, so fascinating is this, the plants give us oxygen, and it also mimics the hemoglobin that we need for blood. That means everybody who you see have low blood should be drinking green tea, and adding vegetables to their diet, rich green. You know they have like with the lettuce, not to get carried away from this, but it's important. You have the regular lettuce, and then you have the romaine lettuce. The romaine lettuce have a vibrant, rich color. The regular lettuce don't have that much color. So the kind of vegetables that you would need is those that have that rich green color. And you would add that to your diet, and you would drink this a lot. You drink it, you eat it, because you need the oxygen. Once you have low blood, you don't have enough oxygen in your body. And this is very important. So add vegetables to your diet. And we have to understand the healing properties in trees. You know, it is not all about eating heavy meat and all of this. We will return. The more we learn about plants, the more we can lose the need for certain types of food. Because when we give the body what it needs, it nourishes us, it strengthens us. The body needs a certain amount of nutrients every day. And when you lack one, this is called a disease. Anyway, moving from there. Now, after God knew, through his foreknowledge, God knows everything. He knew that Satan would be a rebel and want to challenge his authority. So, in the spirit of prophecy, inspiration from heaven tells us God assembled the angelic hosts to take measures to avert the threatened evil. It was decided in heaven's council for the angels to visit Eden and warn Adam that he was in danger from the foe. 2 angels sped on their way to visit our first parents. The holy pair received them with joyful innocence, expressing their grateful thanks to their Creator for thus surrounding them with such a profusion of his bounty. Everything lovely and attractive was theirs to enjoy, and everything seemed wisely adapted to their wants, and that which they prized above all other blessings was the society of the Son of God and the heavenly angels, for they had much to relate to them at every visit of their new discoveries of the beauties of nature in their lovely Eden home. And they had many questions to ask relative to many things which they could but indistinctly comprehend. That's the Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 1, page 32, third paragraph. Now, the warning which all mankind must take heed in their marriage. The angels graciously and lovingly gave them the information they desired. They also gave them the sad history of Satan's rebellion and fall. They then distinctly informed them that the tree of knowledge was placed in the garden to be a pledge of their obedience and love to God, that the high and happy estate of the holy angels was to be retained upon the condition of obedience, that they were similarly situated, meaning the angel was telling them that just like them, they have to keep the commandments of God also. Anyway, we continue. That they could obey the law of God and be inexpressibly happy, or disobey and lose their high estate and be plunged into hopeless despair. Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 1, page 33. It's the first paragraph. Now, isn't this what happens when someone sins? They're depressed and in despair, almost as if to give up on life. It is like this because our sin makes us distant from God. I want to tell you something more about the tree of life. The tree of life in Patriots and Prophets, page 62, and in heaven, that's a book, page 135, first paragraph. Heaven wants us to know something, and this is something that I experienced. I cannot tell you. But anyway, open quote. Then they that have kept God's commandments shall breathe in immortal vigor beneath the tree of life. And through unending ages the inhabitants of sinless worlds shall behold in that garden of delight a sample of the perfect work of God's creation, untouched by the curse of sin, a sample of what the whole earth would have become had man but fulfilled the Creator's glorious plan. Now there's a group of people that is going to experience something amazing. This is only for the commandment keeping people, because one that sins cannot be immortalized. God don't want this. This is only for those who keep the law of God. They're the only ones that have right to the tree of life. Now, what I want to discuss, I wanted to read that first. I'm looking for the part here. One of the best times to pick vegetables is when the dew has fallen on it. You know, it's not easy to get it at this time, but this is the best time. Before the sun hits it in the morning, when that red dew is on it. Now, I believe that everything is for a reason. And in closing, I would like to share something. Everything in life is for a reason. We learn from our surroundings, and if we're alert, we capture many precious experiences. One of which of mine is when I was in the hospital. Having low blood has taught me a lot of things. Now, we know that in the law, it talks about before man was there to till the ground, God sent up a mist. Okay, and God has given man knowledge of things that are similar, not as great as what God does, but on a small scale, so that we may have some idea what it feels like and what it is. So when I was in the hospital, because when you have low blood, you should be on herbs. Now, through in and out of consciousness, they will put a green a mask on you. I always get the name wrong. I can't remember the name of the machine. It's not a nebulizer, but it's something else. It starts with V. I think Vermelin. But anyway, now they have a green herbal substance that they put into it. You know, whenever you go, God forbid that you would have to go in the hospital. Who wants to go there? But if you do go, pay attention. You know, ask questions. Anyway, the mask that they would give you to breathe in reference to what inspiration is telling us about when the people of God stand under the tree. Now, they will give you a mask, and the mask give you a mist, and you would breathe it in. And then something very strange happened. I was in AC, and the thing is, I started to sweat. Now, this is very technical. You might not understand it, but iodine is something, when heat hits it, it turns purple. It turns purple.